All done. Now it's Haze's time to shine. Not so fast. That wasn't all the monsters. The miasma. That wasn't all the monsters. The miasma has attracted more. We can't do our thing until they're all dealt with. Ah, well, that's lame. Lame it may be, but we can't give up now. I wish the music had kept going, though. One thing I don't like about JRPGs is the songs that you hear in them. They, like, every time you get in and out of battle, it stops. And then you, like, the moment you get back into battle, it starts again from the very beginning, and there's no, like, good blending feeling. I had this problem in Xenoblade Chronicles X where when you picked off, like, when you lifted off and then landed, you'd have flight music, but then the moment you touched the ground, the music would stop. And then if you immediately lifted off again, the music would start over again. And it was like this very J-poppy song that I actually rather like. But it was this like awkward situation of like, no, just keep the song going for a little while. Like, it's fine. Who cares? I want to hear the whole thing instead of this, like, you know, the first 30 seconds of it every time I get into combat. Oh well. Are we done yet? Seems like it. Haze, if you would. Right away. I love that little loading. I love Jin's mask. It looks cool. Anyway, Titans, the great continents of Alres, are living beings. And one of the waste products they generate manifests as ether miasma, also known as Titan farts. Titan farts tend to attract monsters, so removing it isn't the safest of occupations. It is, however, rewarding, as doing so unlocks a new collection point each time. Clearing away the Titan fart requires the right field skills. These can be acquired and improved by unlocking the right nodes on the Blade's affinity charts. Hello, Titan fart. The ether miasma's gone. Look, over there. There's so much ether around here. We're bound to find some nice stuff if we look around. Ah, so the abundance of ether must have been what made the miasma form in the first place. Indeed. Well, if we run into any more miasmas, I trust you'll do the honors, Haze. Of course. Leave it to me. I'm so glad you're with us. Otherwise, I'd be forced to rely on that loose cannon Mithra, right? No, that's not what I meant. You've always been my only blade, so you don't have any experience of working together with other blades. That's my fault, but I'm sure that by traveling with Haze and Jin, you'll learn a lot about your own power. And that's a good thing, right? Way to lay expectations on me. I'll give this cooperation thing a go, but I'm not making any promises about learning anything from it. She is just kind of a jerk. Then again, she was always kind of jerkish. Okay, I always feel like Wander's voice is slightly ahead of the video. It's almost like he's predicting what they're going to say. So it is slightly out of sync. I'm going to say about a handful of milliseconds, somewhere between 5 and 10 milliseconds. I don't know how to... I could keep messing with it, and I probably should. I apologize that it will always sound mildly out of sync when I'm doing console stuff. It's a bit of a pain. Because effectively, at least with my current Elgato, and I might get the Elgato that doesn't have this problem at some point, but effectively the way it works is the Elgato has a time delay, and it's supposedly 350 milliseconds or something like that. And so I put it in as per their specifications, and it's wrong, and I don't want to mess with it too much. I guess what I could do is actually, like, try and test it. It's just not easy to test. I can try and fine-tune it between. It's so close that, like, yeah, you will notice it from time to time, but it's never far enough that it's going to be, like, a serious problem, probably. At least, I hope it's not too noticeable. Yeah, ooh, level 50. Go fight. No! I will die! But yeah, I don't know. I apologize. It's a weird situation. Because, yeah, for me, I'm recording it live, but the recording process adds just a whole level of complication. Let's actually do this. It's interesting that I'm, like, actually controlling the, I'm actually controlling the blade. She is real garbage. She doesn't have any kind of combo. Well, let's see what her special move is, which is hit people with staff? No, it looks like there's, yeah, there's winds. Okay. Okay, it's not super noticeable. Only when you're reading what's on screen as fast as it's popping up. That would do it. Do you want to... Oh, nope, never mind, cutscene. Hey, are you drivers? Then you've come in just in time. You passed that bridge coming here, right? I was headed for the Harad Hills that lie beyond, but then, well, then some monsters came and settled there. Now I've got a problem. Please, would you defeat them for me? The dunes are the only place where you can find sand of that color and composition. If I don't make the delivery in time, my father will surely get physical. The less said about that, the better. I hope you'll deal with them soon. I'll be waiting in the Feltley Village campsite. Bye! Well, that was sudden. Are we gonna do anything about it? Personally, I do feel that ensuring Laura's happy reunion with her mother is our top priority, of course. But abandoning a person in need doesn't quite sit well with me either. If we extend a helping hand, we may receive assistance in return somewhere down the line. Yeah. It really is a conundrum. It's your choice, Laura. Yeah, we're with you, whatever you decide. Thanks, guys. Let me think a while. Okay, so we got a side quest. So the foundation of community is talking to the many and various inhabitants of Alrest. Speak to a person, you'll learn their name, job, and location. You can always check this information by going to the community menu found in the main menu. Talk to everyone you can to expand your community. Resolve an issue that a person listed in the community menu is struggling with, and they'll give you a token of their support for you. Collect a lot and your community will grow stronger. Raising the community level will cause more quests to become available. What comes around goes around. Spreading the community spirit lets Laura, Jin, and their allies make their mark on the world. Doing good for the benefit of Alrest is its own reward. Oh, and one more thing. The menu is automatically open every time someone's info is added to the community screen. But that can be disabled by going to Skip Community Registration in the main menu System Options Game Settings. This option is recommended for people who want to build community quickly. So we're gonna do that immediately, but I want to take a look at it. Oh my god, that portrait looks awful. Okay, so this is a thing straight out of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, which is like this weird community happiness thing. It was very strange and took a while to get used to, but I really liked it. It looked cool. Okay, so he's cam, location, quest of simple errand. Cool. I'm gonna go turn that off immediately, as I don't need to see that every single time it happens. System. Options. Game settings. Community registration. Skips it. Thank you very much. But I don't want to actually see it immediately. Alright, and those squirrels just immediately respawn. So the side quest is down here. We should probably just zip to it, but still. But yeah, what happens if you go fight the level 50 creature up above? I die horribly. I did it in Ni no Kuni 2. I was diving in Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Like, the first time I went diving, a level 60-something just floated out of nowhere and wrecked my stuff. It was awful. Happened many times in Xenoblade Chronicles X, where it's just like, hey, let's go do a side quest, and then just some awful murder monster would just show up and destroy me. That was unpleasant. But it happens. Let's see. But yeah, so I actually really like the community tab system. I thought it was actually a really well... It was a really interesting way of kind of handling side quests and like progress and whatnot in Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And there was like a time element to it too, so like certain quests were like timed to the plot and like didn't open up and just other stuff. It was interesting, I really liked it. I don't like that guy that much. I'm noticing the resolution in this DLC is kind of rough. Like, it's lower, I think, than the base game. I think there's also a couple more, like, visual glitches and bugs. Like, the animations aren't as well made as they could have been. So I do kind of feel like this might be a little bit more of a rush rush product, compared to the base game. But, I mean, that makes sense. It's a DLC. This is probably, like, their B team in between projects. They might have even been working on this over the course of Xenoblade Chronicles 2's, like, original development, a bunch of other things. But it doesn't bug me too much. It's a $40 DLC, though. So I'm kind of curious how everything's going to turn out. Chat. We might as well talk to them. If it gets uninteresting, I'll move along. But it looks like they're mostly just talking about where to go next. Yeah, I was hoping it'd actually be more of like a character, you know, development place, but it's more of a, like, where do we go next? Which is a shame, because I like character development. Okay, talisman making, replica artifact making, and creative cuisine. Uh-oh. So these are all grizzly milfoil, inconceivable pudding, spicy scorpion cookie, pureed sculpin parfait. Oh boy, these are scary. Well, whoa. I don't know why, I'm very burpy right now. I haven't eaten. Oh, it's because I haven't eaten anything. I had veggie burgers and fries earlier. They were delicious. Oh, not enough required items. I mean, I might as well make as many as I can. We actually probably should use these. I've never actually seen any Xenoblade Chronicles. This actually looks pretty cool. Yeah, I really like it, personally. I mean, I've always been a fan of this series. Even though X had flaws, I think it remains my kind of sort of favorite. But that's just because it fed into my, like, love for mecha and sci-fi stuff. Xenoblade Chronicles... I need to go back and play Xenoblade blah 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 near. I gotta play the first one at some point, like, to completion. I always stop when you reach the head of Bionis. And I really should, like, someday sit down and actually do a complete series on it. Someday. Now, we should probably actually focus on what the blades can make, because it unlocks new abilities for them. Oh. Item drop collection range by 50 centimeters? So this guy actually makes equipment. So item discovery rate by 10%, that's pretty good. Gold gain in battle by 10%. Max pouch items raised by 10. Lure range by 2 meters. Detection range increase. Okay, so we actually want to grab as many collectibles as we can, because that's an awesome system. Way more interesting, at least. But yeah, so that unlocked swordplay for Jin. I'm gonna try and complete those a lot more now. It was honestly overwhelming in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. How many like blades you had to deal with and manage. And, like, I liked the collection aspect to it, but I almost kind of wish that they were separate characters and party members you'd almost recruit. Because I think that would have been more interesting than this system. Well, no. That would have been more interesting than the system that it ended up being, where it's like, okay, here's a couple of different, like, weapon types. And, you know, here's the moveset, and so on and so forth. And it felt less impactful after a while. It's like, okay, well, here's your good blades that actually do the thing you want. I'm not getting that item, am I? Oh, nope, got it. Sweet, money. But, you know, this system seems a lot more impactful, and you can actually, like, sit down and focus on an individual character. As you're not just, like, constantly being buried by options. You're not being buried by options, you're not being buried by just too much choice. And so this actually makes a lot more sense as far as I'm concerned. So, if they do make a Xenoblade Chronicles using this kind of system, I hope they follow this recipe instead. Because honestly, I think the other problem I had was blade grinding was rough. Like, getting new blades, opening cores, all of it was... It kind of took away from the experience as opposed to making it exciting. There were some cool-ass blades that... Many of which I never got. Like, I never got Cosmos, but apparently she was, like, ridiculously rare. But I like the choice. I like the choice, but it was kind of a false choice. Because they had moves, but they were still, like, largely the same thing. If each blade was distinct and unique, I think I would have liked it more. But as it stands, you had, like, gun, sword, claw, blitzball, and you had, like, a couple of those. And I'd prefer it if each blade was, like, its own separate thing entirely, for example. Because I think that would be much more compelling. I see now. They're doing a grand job of blocking the way, aren't they? Some people just don't know when to cut their losses and quit, I guess. That's funny coming from you. I'm starting to feel for the monsters. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Lady Laura, should we intervene? Nah. They're just each saying what they're thinking, and that's no easy thing. Sure, it might butt heads sometimes, but that doesn't mean they'll kill each other, right? Who the hell do you think you are? Good line. Why don't you look in a mirror and ask yourself that? Ah, I hate this guy's guts. Ah, the friendly banter between comrades is music to my ears. I'm sure that together we can go far. Looks like they want to join the party. In that case, why don't we give them a warm welcome? And like, you are correct, they do have distinct abilities and stuff, but it wasn't like distinct enough that I was like really excited about it, you know, getting a new blade. Especially because some of the blades were just downright garbage or like took forever to grind up. And like, it felt strange. Like, they were oh god, we have a friend. It felt strange because it felt like there were supposed to be these meaningful party members, but they were anything but. You know, the apart from like a couple of cutscenes here and in there, they were just these like non-characters that you'd only bring out in battle. And so like, I think that's what I mean when I say distinct, because 50-something blades you can't really like combine into a game. It works well when it's like a strategy game. You don't really need to care about the characters that much, you know, they're just members of your army. But in like a JRPG, when like you have this like really tight-knit cast and then a bunch of like B team members that you just kind of pull in whenever, it's like, yeah, I'll use them, but they don't feel meaningful as much. And so, yeah, sure, they did have distinct, semi-distinct abilities that you could use, but there was a lot of them that it was just like, yeah, so this is your topple move, this character. And maybe part of it was because I felt like I was pigeonholed into the standard Xenoblade break, topple, launch, blowdown, or whatever combo. Because, you know, that's such a staple to the combat system. And I love it, but any blade that didn't fit into that schema, unless you were going for healer or something like that, instantly felt inferior. And yes, the blades had quests. Yeah, but they had a quest, but they had no, like, relevance to the plot. They weren't a character in the plot. They just had, like, a weird side mission where it's like, you know, we all love you and care about you, and you're going to go back and sit in our, you know, sit in our bin while we continue to use, you know... Oh, jeez, what was my party in the end? I think I switched it around a little bit, but I used, like, Bathtub Chick a bunch. I used, obviously, Pyramithra. I used... Man, I don't even remember exactly what my, like, main team was. But, you know, I like this so far because every single blade is a legitimate character as part of the plot. and probably will continue to be so, as opposed to, you know, Sidekick McGee that you might use, maybe. I kind of have that same problem with a lot of, like, monster collection games and Pokemon. There's a lot of really redundant monsters that you probably don't use. Some people will. I think it comes from a place of, like, balance, maybe? It's like, recolors. Like, who really wants a recolor on their team in, like, the Digimon games? Like, Solarmon versus Hagurumon. I don't care about the plot relevance of the character. It's just not as interesting. There's only a couple that actually, like, work. Like Toy Agumon, or like to some degree Black Agumon and Agumon were kind of neat. But that's just because like they were mainline Digimon to begin with, so you already cared about them. Whereas like, I'm thinking about Fire Emblem, for example, and admittedly plot-wise a lot of the characters lost relevance real quick, but I always felt like I was using every single one of them for something. Even if it was meat wall or ferrying items between each other. I guess a lesser degree, I didn't use every character, but it did feel like I was using many of those characters. But yeah, intentional bench warmers in a JRPG is kind of a tough thing to work with. I'm gonna have to deal with that a little bit in Dragon Quest 11 here. Here? I don't know. This... in my Dragon Quest 11 series. I'm probably gonna have to deal with that in this series too, because you know, you have options for characters, but at the same time, I would prefer to have a small cast with an incredible amount of customization options than a very large cast that just get benched because they don't really fit into how you play. So obviously Dragon Quest 11, 7 party members, but only 4 slots in actual combat, meaning half the party just gets benched for the entire series. And, like, it works. Like, 7's kind of maximum party size you want to see in a group. But, like, straight up for this game, I almost never used Zeke. For 2 reasons. One, because you couldn't, I couldn't get any good blades on him, period. I only got, like, healers, I think, and it was stupid and annoying, and it was just like, well, I give up trying to, like, get blades on him. I think they fixed that at that point, but he was just a permanent bench warmer, and it's like, he's a neat character, but, you know, mechanically, you were almost desensitized from ever using him, unless you had gotten real lucky early on and gotten exactly the blades that you wanted on Rex. Or had known that, hey, Rex can just use every blade. You like being able to pick your favorites. I kind of do too, but like, I don't know. When a character stops being able to be active in the plot because there's too many characters, I feel like that's when it's too much. Because it's disappointing to have like a favorite character that like you really like in a game, and then they don't say anything anymore because they already said their point. They already had their time in the sun, their plot arc, and then they go back to the back line because they're not the main character. Because at that point, it's just kind of like, we'll wrap that into another character or something, because otherwise it's just like, why was I even here? I guess, Pyre is one of my favorite games ever, just in terms of like how they handled the game. But it sucked so much playing it, because it's like, here's the character that I really like, and I want them to have a happy future. Alright, you're out of the party. I won't see you ever again. And it's just like, I actually liked having him around to like say things and interact with people. Or, kind of similarly with like games like Walking Dead or BioWare games, where it's like if a character of us has the possibility of dying, they instantly become boring. Even if you save their butt, if they could die, that means the developers don't want to write it in that this character, they don't want to spend all this time on a character that half the player base straight up won't see. And so if you're ever given the choice between 2 characters in any of the Walking Dead games, it's actually it's a non-choice. No matter what, that character will eventually die or disappear, and it's actually kind of frustrating because it's like, yeah, you know, hey, this character's really competent and knows how to do things. Oh, it's either him or her. Oh, that means they're both dead because you can't write the game that well. Developers don't want to put forth all that effort into making it a they don't want to put in all that effort to actually make the character interesting and important because none of the plot can depend on whether or not they exist. Unless, of course, it's one of those games where it's that character surviving is so important that the only way to win is to have them survive. But that most developers don't want to do that either. Let's see, Tales from the Borderlands avoids that. Interesting. I didn't know anything about that. I've never played it. Here we are, Yanchik Harbor, isn't it? That's correct. I requested that they wait especially for Lady Laura before they depart. Oh, nice one. Good thinking, Hayes. Looks like getting our ride to Gormont will be no trouble at all. Come on, let's go and have a chat with the captain. Okay, there's two main ways of making your entire team stronger. Leveling up and using pouch items. Leveling up. When you earn enough EXP through fighting battles, you'll level up, increasing the team stats. Pouch items. Add a pouch item to a driver's pouch to empower the team with a certain buff for a fixed duration. There are 3 ways to make a driver stronger. You can either improve the actual character in one of 2 ways. Improve their equipment, improving driver characters, enhance arts, use WP in battle, or use the affinity chart. Gotcha. Driver equipment, equip accessories. Oh, 4 ways to make a blade stronger. Improve their actual character, one of 2 ways. Improve their equipment. In of 2 ways. Okay, use WB for enhance arts, or WP for enhance art, and affinity chart for the tasks. Core chips and ox cores, and I'm feeling lightheaded. This is too much. Affinity Ward won't be unlocked at this point, though, so you won't notice any difference just yet. When you get to your Affinity Ward pop-up, be sure to check the unlocked ability in the menu. If you don't, the blade won't develop. Well, we've already actually had that happen, so screw you, tutorial. I know what I'm doing. It's rough having played this game before and more or less being like, yep, I know exactly what's going on here. Anyway, let's break things open first. It's a lot of text. It's too much text. So, Wander, will you be playing Indivisible when it comes out? Not only will I be playing Indivisible, I technically already have access to the Kickstarter demo. I just haven't gotten around to playing it yet. I could do it at any point if we want to just like randomly do that some night this week. I don't know how long the demo is. Looks great. I got to see it when I was at PAX, and it's like, yep, game looks fantastic. Surprising no one. Okay, let's grab the side quests. Hey, I'm in Isabella, don't you know? I'm something of an adventurer around these parts. Say, do you know about the Barney stones? Long, long ago, a famed adventurer called Blue Barney went adventuring for treasure and all rest. But during his travels in Torna, he collected so much loot he couldn't carry it all. So he decided to seal it up inside big rocks and got monsters to guard it to make sure it didn't get stolen. He thought he'd retrieve his loot when he next made it out to Torna, you see. But he never got the chance. And so, the Barney stones remain untouched to this day. Barney might have been a bit useless and a good for nothing, but it makes for an interesting tale, right? Yeah. So you agree. I'm so glad to have met a like-minded soul. Then I have another tale for you. I've heard that there's a Barney stone somewhere in the nearby Harad Hills. Though I might have thought I might have a go at finding it myself. So far, no luck. I'm thinking I might just pack up and head back to the capital. But you look like you might be able to find it. When you do find it, you're supposed to hold your hands up and chant, "Barney's the man," 3 times. Yeah, I know. I think it's nuts too. But you gotta say the words just to break the seal. But you can probably just mutter it under your breath. Oh, and you'll have to take care of all the monsters that show up after you break the seal. If you can manage that, Barney's hidden loot will be yours, and it'll finally re-enter circulation. On the off chance you do manage to get the treasure, let me know. I'm sure it'll be an exciting tale. You'll have to tell me. Until then, I suppose. Army Tale of Barney. Whew. Sure. We got another quest over here. Oh, friends! Our friends may be an intrepid team of fearless blades and drivers. Roly-Poly is also a driver. Meh? What do you mean, cool story? It's truth! Roly-Poly veteran of many, many battle. Now about to start new job, but it sound like super duper mega faff. So Roly-Poly on lookout for allies. Meh. Friends look competent, but Roly-Poly know better than to trust appearance. We'll give friends test. As for specifics of test, yes, roly-poly have most excellent brainwave. Want to see friends topple 5 enemies using driver combo technique. Any foe will do. Roly-poly not picky. Friends know how to topple work, right? Is simple, no? Do break, then do topple. Repeat 5 times and pass test. Ah, more hiccups. And then, when ready, not forget to come see Roly-Poly and give good news. Okay. We already know that. Oh, break, launch, topple, and smash. Not knockdown. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. Hello. I climbed up that person's head. I'd apologize, but I have no regrets. Okay, well, we know about one of the Barney stones, so we should probably go see that. Can I just... Oh, there we go. Wait, what? Really? Okay, I can't travel to the secluded Boneway. Yeah, let's do that. I do kind of wish more JRPGs would actually have monsters that scale with your level. I think that would actually be kind of neat in this game, so that the really weak enemies weren't utter garbage. It's not terrible, but it's like, you know, after a while, trash mobs get dull. What JRPG did that? I guess to some degree, Octopath kind of did that, or in a neat way. It was, at least in the first chapter, all of the monsters would scale up to your level. And so, it never really felt like you're wasting your time while you were collecting new characters. Because for whatever reason, the party members wouldn't scale up to maximum party level, which, like, I really wish they wouldn't in these games. Your party EXP should be shared across all party members equally. Otherwise, you end up in a situation exactly like what I was kind of talking about earlier, where you end up with like a bunch of bench warmers that you'd never use. Because, like, you know, there are reasons to have bench warmers and stuff like that, but it's still kind of disappointing. And so, Breath of the Wild scales. It sort of does. I liked Breath of the Wild a lot. I didn't like how the enemies scaled, just because your equipment durability didn't scale that much. It was really frustrating sometimes playing that game, and being like, I guess I have to burn through every single piece of equipment I have in my inventory just to be able to fight all these guys. That's the Barney Stone. You might find certain mysterious stone pillars on your adventures. Okay, we already know about this. Fight off some monsters. Preparation is key. Let's give it a go. Alright. Oh. Man, this is mad easy. But no, I don't know. I like games where the content kind of scales with you. Because otherwise you end up with, like, a lot of places that are boring. And, like, it's... Especially for, like, open-worldy games. Open-worldy, like, RPGs. You don't want to have wasted space, because then it just kind of makes your... It just makes your game feel, like, weirdly empty. Let's heal. So she actually comes pre-injured. Which is something to keep in mind. I don't actually know if we have more enemies coming after this group, but I figure this is fine. I wonder how many blades I can have attached to, Laura. Okay, so we want to save up. Nope, we're not going to be able to do it. I was going to hopefully do a launch combo, but it didn't really happen here. No, my loot! My loot! No, it's all gone. Ah! Secret flag blueprint. Oh, that's fine. Oh, so he has a new recipe? Or maybe it's like a trait talent thing. I'm not really sure. It's not exactly a comparable thing, but I don't know how many of you guys have played the most recent Doom game, but one of the things I really liked about Doom was no weapon ever felt wasted. You were always using all of them. And largely they did that to keep you on your toes, like switching your weapons up. You know, oh, I'm out of rocket launcher ammo, let's switch to the machine gun and so on and so forth. But, you know, it felt like, hey, yeah, there's a weapon for every situation, but, you know, the only gun I don't think I ever used specifically was the, I never used the pistol, just because, it was awkward and had, like, a focus on headshots, and I was more about running and gunning. Oh, this poor thing is not going to survive very quick at all. The minigun was useless, in my opinion. I disagree entirely. The minigun rolled through things if you had the, one of the upgrades. It was great. I loved it a lot. Let's see. I know some people that have played through that entire game using entirely the pistol. Crazy bastards. I got mad respect for that sort of thing, but ho, that takes some effort. Anyway, let's go turn this back into Barney Stone Seeker Isabella. Huh? You haven't actually gone and found it yet, have you? The Barney Stone and the treasure? Then tell me all the juicy details. I knew you had it in you. Didn't I say it? So, what do you think? Do you think you'll become adventurers now and make a killing? There's a legend about a stash of buried gold in Torna's vast desert. If I join forces with you, I reckon we could make a tidy profit. Just kidding. Last thing I need in my line of work is more tough competition. Well, thanks very much for listening to my waffle. I hear there are other Barney stones scattered around Torna, so good luck with those. Alright, community gained. Bam. Isabella, I knew you'd be the ones to uncover the blue Barney stash as soon as I saw you. Hope you'll find the rest of them too. Should be hidden all over. And community levels up. Alright. I thought I said to skip this, but I guess not. Okay, required for the next level, 15. Ugh. Well, maybe that unlocks some new things. Okay, so we get EXP, gold, SP, and a belt. Cool. I should probably save. I really like this DLC. Admittedly, I'm only 2.5 hours in, but tentatively, I'd actually say I like this DLC better than the base game. The characters are more interesting, more fun, and in general, it's just felt good. The systems make a lot of sense. Both are equally valid, but I think I just have a preference for this right now. Maybe just because I didn't like Rex that much. I don't know. Anyway,